If you are someone who wants to learn prefix sum technique, or if you are someone who wants to know how prefix sum technique works and how it helps us in solving problem efficiently, then this video is for you. Hi guys, I Aziz welcome you to CoedMaster, and in this video I am going to explain prefix sum technique in detail. So please watch this video till the end. So let's get started. Alright guys, let's begin this video with the very first question, that is, why are we learning this technique? What is the need of learning this technique? So there are two strong reasons to support this question. Number one reason is, using this technique we can solve many coding problems efficiently. The second reason is, it helps us in solving problems related to range queries. Okay, but what does it mean by range queries? Let me show you what does it mean by range queries. So let's say you are given an array like this, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6 and 1. And if you are asked that give me the sum between 0 to 5 index, right? So in this case, what would you do? Your approach will be simple. You just go to index 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 and then 5. And you are going to sum all the numbers and you get the sum of the range of between 0 to 5, right? This is what you do, guys. And what if you get a query like, get me a sum of range 2 to 4? So again you have to follow the same steps. You go to index 2, then 3 and then 4 and you get your sum. You add all the numbers and boom, you get your answer, right? So guys, this is not a bad idea. In fact, this is a pretty good idea to find the sum of range, right? But we have more efficient way to solve these range queries and we will see it later. So guys, before we move on, let's see how we are going to implement this approach to find the sum of range. So let's see it. So we are given an array and our task is to find the sum between 1 to 4. Okay. So what do? We simply initialize a variable sum with the 0. Then we are going to run a loop from 1 to 4. This is what we do, right? And while iterating from 1 to 4, we are going to store the values of that index into the sum variable. And after loop gets completed, we eventually return the value of sum, right? So this is the basic way to implement this approach. So this is how you are going to solve this, right guys? But guys, here is the thing you should aware of. What happens if n is very large? What will be your time and space complexity of this approach? So let's say the value of n is 100 just in case the value of n is 100 and you are given to find the sum between 0 to 100. Then you have to run this loop from 0 to 100. It means the time complexity of this approach in worst case is going to be the linear order of growth, right? And the space complexity remains theta of 1. It means constant space because we are not using any extra variable here other than loop. But guys, theta of n belongs to class of linear order of growth. But we have better approach to solve range queries. We will see in a bit. So overall, this approach took big of n time complexity and theta of 1 constant space to solve the range queries. That is okay. So I hope so far this is clear to you. Now comes the really interesting part of this video. And this is where prefix sum techniques kicks in. And guys, if I tell you that we can solve range queries in constant time space, then what would be your reaction? Isn't it really cool? It is, right? Now the question over here is how to use prefix sum technique and how it works. Now let's see it, how it works. So what do we do in this technique? We first compute the prefix sum of the array. So the array is given as 2, 3, 5, 4, 6 and 1. And you can see that the sum of all of these values is equal to 21. Now the second step is to compute the prefix sum of this array. And how we are going to compute? So first we are going to consider first element, and the sum up to this element is 2, right? Because the sum up to 0 index is 2. So we are not going to do anything with the first element. Now let's move on to next element. Now what is the sum up to this element? Obviously it is the sum of this element and the previous element, right? 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. So we add 5 to index 1. So this is going to be our prefix array, right? Prefix array. Then we move on to next index, that is 2 index. So now what will be the sum up to this index? It's going to be 2 plus 3 plus 5, that is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And how we are going to compute it? Simply add this number with the previous number. So 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So this is the prefix sum up to this index, correct? And similarly, we compute the prefix sum of the next index, that is 4. 4 plus 10 is equal to 14. Then next is 14 plus 6 is equal to 20, and 20 plus 1 is equal to 21, right? So this is how we are going to compute prefix sum array of the given array. So first step is done. Now comes the interesting part. Here is the magic of prefix sum kicks in. Now if you are asked to find the sum of range L to R, where L is equal to 0 and R is equal to 5. So guys, now after computing the prefix sum, we can solve this query in constant time. Yes, you heard that right. Let me show you how. If L is equal to 0, it means we have to find sum from 0 to 5 index, right? But we already have computed the sum till index 5, and you can see this is here. So what we have to do? We simply have to return value of index R, that is 5, and the value present at index 5 is 21. And you can see that this 21 is exactly equal to this 21. Right, isn't it really cool? Obviously. So this is the case when you get L is equal to 0. In next case, what if you were asked that get me the sum from L to R where L is equal to 2 and R is equal to 4. In this case, L is not equal to 0. So what we have to do here? We simply have to calculate prefix sum of R minus prefix sum of L minus 1. And what is the prefix sum of R? R is 4. At index 4 we have 20. And at index 2 minus 1 is, at index 1 we have 5. So 20 minus 5 is 15. And see guys, we have computed this query also in constant time. Almost both the queries in constant time. So this is the beauty of prefix sum array. And do you realize guys what we are doing here? We are simply subtracting prefix sum of the previous element like this. So R is 4 and 4 is 20, right? 4 is 20. So we are subtracting prefix sum of numbers up to this index, right? Because we need prefix sum between 2 to 4, right? So guys, I hope you understood the prefix sum. You also understood how it works and how we can use prefix sum to solve range queries. So I hope you learned something valuable out of this video. If you did, then please hit the like button and please subscribe to this channel. And do not forget to hit the bell icon, so my friend, you never miss the upcoming video. So this is it from my side. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.